Hello fellow Tamers, Digidread on the mic, and in this video, you know what it is, Red Habit coming out to play with the fresh fade, ready to OTK with the big lads. I tell you, this deck has not left the building. If anything, it's got better because Tommy has been hit. Restricted to one, headshot. It means that this deck can come out to play and do what it's already good at, and that's just OTK, big D red energy, swinging through your security. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down my little spicy tech in terms of BT9, what I'm doing with this deck, what I'm trying to achieve, which is the OTK, and all that good stuff. So if this is the video for you, make sure you sit down, grab yourself a drink, because as always, you know your brother has. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, make sure you subscribe and turn the notification bell. So I do videos on the reg, and as standard, we have to go over to the stats. The stats, guys, has been immense. These past few days, subscribe count's been through the roof, because I've literally introduced you to the back end of what I'm seeing on the reg. And you know what? We can get this to at least underneath 90%. 90%. Would just be the dream if we could just get that nicely underneath, banging. But we're already just seeing amazing figures. I mean, females, like, I've done content creating for so long, and every time it's just been such a sausage fest in terms of my content that I produce, and it's great just to see a small fraction of females playing Digimon. I'm like, yes, this is what we want. We want everyone to be playing Digimon, because it's just such a good game. Like, this legit is really a good game, and I just encourage anyone to play it. Man, get your dog to play it. I don't care who it is. Let's just get more people playing this game for sure. So, enough of the plugs. Let's go on into the actual deck profile. So, eggs, keeping it short and sweet. Just 4 Digimon. Just the main thing with this deck is just the OTK. We just want to make sure that we can get our DP as high as we can. And Digimon just does that, attacking the player. That's all we're doing with this. We're not attacking through an opponent, always at the player. So additional 1000 DP is just going to make your Ancient Grey super strong. It should be getting up to 14k, and obviously if you go into your Omnimon, that then be swinging at 15, which is going to be swinging over most threats or crashing into other threats. So obviously with this kind of meta that we're kind of going into, we do have some heavy hitters sitting at around about 15k. AncientGreymon is at 13, and obviously with the boost of Digimon will go up to 14. So obviously there is a bit like, well, this boy could crash into somewhere and absolutely get clapped, but we've got good options that's going to just secure what we're trying to do here. And also we do have awesome Digimon that can boost that threshold as well, as you probably already know. So going on to the rookies, we do run the classic BT4 Flamemon. This is just so good because you're able to reveal top 3, able to get a hybrid and a tamer from a monster, which is just perfect. Ideally, you just want to be getting one of your core pieces and the Taikimir out. You just want those two. That is all you need in order for this OTK to actually pop off and secure game for sure. So we're running that at 4. Then your main Digimon that you want in the raising area is going to be your BT6 Flamemon, because the inevitable, if it's got hybrid in its name or 10 warriors, it does granite piercing, which is just great. That means that if they're going to try to block you, you can just go through them like, that's how you want to do it. Finish the job and get off the table, going hopefully to table 1. That's how you want to be going down. So you want to be running this at 4. Then lastly, out of the actual Flamemons, we do run the BT7 Flamemon at 2. The reason why is because we're actually not running like Emperor Greymon in this build. So I felt like I don't necessarily need as many search options to kind of get my hybrids, because unfortunately AncientGreymon isn't classed as a hybrid, so this cannot actually search that out, and we don't run Susan. So pretty much this is just for a deeper dig. The Heritable's pretty sweet. It means that you can play your Takuya out when this boy gets deleted, but because we're not kind of going on the aggressive route of us going into this promo, going for a swing, and then obviously into AncientGreymon that dies and all that good stuff, we're not doing that with this deck. So I feel like having this more than kind of like 3 or 4 is just not really optimal. I'd rather be running our good friend Pokemon, which can able to get our actual 10 warriors, meaning that we can actually get our AncientGreymon to go in and start clapping those cheeks. Because obviously revealing that top 5 is just the biggest dig you're going to get, especially in this deck. And you'll be able to add one card with hybrid or 10 warriors and a Tamer amongst them. So once again, you can get your Tai Chimera out, you can get your Takuya, which just works well in this deck. And then if it couldn't get any better, sorry for bumping on the microphone, we are able to gain 2 memory if we Evo on top of a Tamer, which means that we can kind of Evo for free off a Tamer, depending on obviously which Digimon you kind of Evoed into. Obviously you have your Goonimon or your Burning Greymon, which just works well with this. So it adds that pressure for your opponent to be like, well, I need to now delete this in order for none of these kind of shenanigans to kind of go off, because it can cost you the game if you leave Pokemon unchecked. So we do run Pokemon at 2. So going on into the champions, we do run the Agoonimon at 2, Agoonie for Gamer Standard. Do love Agoonimon. I do wish, I hope they actually bring out a Agoonimon that's got a different inheritable. But I feel like with hybrids at the moment, they're kind of like, I don't know what else they can kind of do with them, unless they kind of go with the X antibody route and kind of have like 3 Evos on top of a particular Digimon that they're Evo into. That's the only thing I can kind of think of, and there's not really an X antibody Agoonimon. Like I just don't know where they can go from this, apart from creating just a different version. So yeah, pretty much your Agoonie for game. This works really well in this deck because the condition that I find my deck when I'm building this is essentially, if I've got a Tai Chimera and I've already got my AncientGreymon stack out, or, well, AncientGreymon stack in Raising, and I bring it out, eventually I'm just going to swing for 5, Agoonie for game. That's the kind of condition right there. If they've kind of swung into my security and propped off a red memory boost, then it's like, well, you are screwed. You are so screwed. Because it just means I'm definitely getting that, even if I don't even trip any options, so it's like pretty much GG boys. So Agoonimon, rocking that at 2. The absolute amazing Digimon right here is your Burning Grey. This is just good for that kind of little essence of control, as well as actually boosting your security checks in Raising, because you are able to Digivolve this on top of a level 4 hybrid for the cost of 1. So it just means that you can just absolutely flex on how many security checks you want your AncientGreymon to actually do. You can literally go like, yo, how much is your AncientGreymon doing? You just reply with yes. That's all. That's how hard this boy is going into your security. So it's absolutely beautiful. And then if you Digivolve Digivolve from your Takuya into Burning Grey, it means that you're able to essentially pop a 4k DP less Digimon, which is just beautiful. It's just great control and really helps kind of climb the ladder if you have to kind of Evo on top of your Takuya. Like I say, it's not the main game plan, but in Digimon, you've got to learn to adapt. You got to learn to adapt into the game state, because not every battle's the same. 9 times out of 10, you kind of go with the main strat of just building that OTK with your Ancient Grey, but sometimes you do just need to adjust if you can't find the right pieces, but you need to still control the board, and this is what this Digimon does really well. So running that at 4, no less. Then your main chess piece, the one that you always want to be finding, is your promo Agoonimon. Absolutely clean. I cannot wait for the alt art. The alt art looks, it's coming in fierce. Coming in like Deku with the Delaware smash. Absolutely beautiful. Because this just enables plays. But because we're going into the kind of the OTK route, we do want to use that inheritable, which just enables you to Digivolve this Digimon, well, Digivolve an Ancient Grey and reduce the cross down by 2, which is just great. That means that your Ancient Grey can evolve for 3 instead of 5. 5 does make a massive like difference in terms of, you know, it's a turn difference in that sense. And sometimes you do find yourself, if you do have the memory banked up, you can obviously just bring out from your Aldemon and then Evo for the cost of 3, but sometimes you just kind of have to just go into Ancient Grey, pay the 5 cost in your Raising, just so you know that you can just go in and absolutely clap. If you've got Takuya out, it means that you've definitely got game, because you could be starting off at 3. So Agoonimon, fantastic. If as well, probably another key point in Agunimon's kind of tech that you can do with Takuya is able to kind of essentially stack the Takuya, but not Evo into your into your Emperor Grey. You can just bring all your hybrids back from the trash underneath, but then Evo into your Burning Grey for the cost of 2, go into your Aldemon for the cost of 1, and depending on how many Agunimons you've got underneath the Takuya stack, you could then go into Ancient Grey for the cost of 1, or if you've got 3 Agunimons, you can go into it for free. So really powerful card. I love the actual tech that you can do with this deck. It's so much fun. Really good ways to just capitalize out on just getting your big red boop out on the field and start swinging. That's what you need. So that is for the champions. We're going into the actual ultimate. So a little bit of a spicy tech, and this is probably, you know, this was like the BT8 meta. We saw tops with this boy being introduced, and this is going to be your Metal Greymon Alteris mode. It's such a powerful card because just enables you to evolve on top of your Aldemon for the cost of 1. Beautiful, absolutely great. It's almost like the X antibody kind of like theme, but we have to pay the cost, unfortunately. But it does mean that you're able to get an additional 2k DP because you're going to be evolving into your Ancient Grey, which class as a Greymon, which is just beautiful. So it means that you can actually just swing over pretty much most threats. You're going to be swinging for 16k, which is just going through anything, which is beautiful. Granted, you may whiff on the actual searches of this boy, unfortunately, but you know, it is what it is. We do have ways to kind of avoid this from happening if you don't find the pieces. So we do run out of 3, and then your main boy. This is the boy that just makes the difference. This is just like hacks, like absolute hacks, because it's a delicate plan built into a hybrid. This is what just makes Ancient Greymon just cleave through, not even worry about a thing. He just going through, doing what he needs to do, and making it look fancy because it just enables that, you know, you can't trip on any form of option card in the opponent's stack. And then if you was going to go through like the Takuya route, or even just kind of like bring him out and Evo on top of your champion, it does enable you to get yourself an additional 4000 DP. I would not recommend you taking this boy out. I don't care what the conditions are. Just try not to. Just get to that. Just get to Ancient Grey. You'll love it. You'll love the feeling of going out and just cleaving through beautifully. Absolutely fantastic. Run it at 4. Definitely no less. Like, God, no. 4 for sure. So going on into the ultimate, well, the megas, which is just boom. Absolutely great slice of life. There is no better feeling, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Red Hybrid players, just knowing you've got game, like knowing you've got the pieces. You come out like, you know, like you fresh from the barbers with a cool fade. Like, you're just like, yeah, I got this in the bag. You can't do nothing because this card is cracked. So for each Digimon in its Digivolution cards, with Greymon being the main thing, or hybrid, it gains additional security check, which is just stupid, absolutely stupid. Obviously, if you've got the promo Goonimon, you're Digivolving this for free cost, which is just mental. Absolutely mental for how much you can stack on top of this boy. Obviously, we do have the new promo cards for, obviously, you know, your Metal Greymon that you could slot. You could actually slot into this build if you want to. It's definitely not a problem out there. But because we're going down the OTK route, we shouldn't be effectively, you know, we shouldn't be getting deleted. Like we should not be getting deleted. And it will also affect the amount of security checks this boy does, because you have to basically take out two of the same level Digimon out your sources, which we just don't want. We want to keep the source. We want to keep that source in. So absolutely beautiful. This is the OTK condition. As soon as you got this boy out, you're laughing. You're absolutely laughing. You know what to do. You bring him out, slice. Then on deletion, like I say, this boy should not be deleted, but not every battle's the same. You're able to basically get out a level 4 or lower hybrid from your hand without paying its memory cost, which is just great. Obviously, we do have many searches, so we play a searcher, we can do that on play. It's all that all that fabulous stuff right there. Obviously, if we do have our Flamemon that's got that inheritable that you can play Takuya, bang, we can play Takuya. It's all happy days. But 9 times out of 10, when you're bringing this boy out, you're going for the OTK. Mwah! The magic is glorious, and we run that at 4. So then, just to confirm that OTK, we're going with the Omnimon. Omnimon for game is the sauce. And one thing I like about the Red Hybrid build is that you have options. Like, you have options. If your opponent just trips, you know, goes in hard in your security, you're like, oh mate, just take a day off. Just take a day off, son. Any trips into a tie, you're like, oh boy, you better make sure you can kill me this turn, because I'm gonna go in with the yeet. That's how that's gonna go down. And having Omnimon just to secure game is just such a good feeling. I did originally have this at 3, but I felt it was a little bit clunky. I felt like I was just having too many Omnimons and actually have the AncientGreymon, which is just unfortunate. But we already know what this boy does. It grants himself Blitz. On Digivolve, it can unsuspend, so unsuspend, Blitz, Blam is all great. To be honest, the all turns doesn't really come into effect. It may do, depending on the situation, but 9 times out of 10, this is your ender. This is like, GG boys, we're done. We're done. Packing up the mat and going to the next round. That's how we do it with our boy Omnimon. So we do run that at 2. So we've gone through the Digimon line. Let's get to the sauce. So, high speed plugin. This card is extremely cracked for this kind of deck, because whilst you have a Tamer in play, basically you can ignore its color requirement. So we don't need a blue source in this deck. As long as we've got Tamer out, we're laughing. We're laughing. So, main, for the turn, this Digimon gains jamming. So, it doesn't matter if I've not actually got, essentially, my Alterius mode, or, you know, got enough DP to go over, like, Dexmon, or your Alphamon, or Yukin mode. We got jamming. We're just going through. We got Aldemon in stack. That's our delicate plan already applied on. So, we are easy street. We're absolutely laughing right here. And the best thing about this, if they've got blockers out, nah, son. Going through that, they can't block you. They cannot block you. So this applies for the turn. So if you're going for, you know, if they don't block you on the first turn because they're like, well, I've got piercing, then I'm still going to then go for Omnimon for game, and it's still applied. If they do have a block round field and I don't have the piercing Flamemon in stack, not a problem, because they can't block me. It's just a win-win. It's just absolutely get the seniors in place. Good times, absolutely good times. And then, obviously for us, we want to be showing that we can draw our pieces. And then in security, you're able to draw one and then add this card to hand. You're getting the maximum worth for your power plays if this is in your security. Beautiful. We had to run it at 3. It was a very tough decision because I did originally have Rowdy Rocker in this build, because that card's done put in work. That card has definitely saved me a few times, and that draw 2 is beautiful. But I feel like in this actual meta, you ain't got time to be caught slipping. You ain't got time to be giving them enough turns for the opponent to start setting up. They will go through you. So you need to make sure if they don't go through you, you can go through them. And especially because Red Hybrid's not part of like the X antibody line. We've not got any ways to kind of cheat up and draw for like 3 evos and just kind of like, oh yeah, we've got a piece, boom, we can just go into another one and another one like DJ Khaled. We just got to kind of like work with what we got and kind of climb up and pay that one cost. So it's definitely important to make sure that we've got the key pieces to execute and, you know, claim game. So then we run into the kind of like the bit of spice. The thing about this meta at the moment is that there's a lot of Digimon that have ways to just avoid deletion. Melgarex just got ways to avoid deletion in from, you know, the actual inheritables that it gains when stacking up. So sometimes I feel like, oh, this is kind of pointless. Like, this is kind of pointless. I might as well just run, instead of running like this, I might as well just run like Megadeth. But I feel like at times we do need ways to kind of like pop off multiple Digimon, just to kind of secure that they're not gonna able to essentially fully OTK myself whilst they're swinging. Just means that we can pop off their kind of options. Like obviously Malga X, for example, can negate that deletion effect if we do happen to, well, I suppose in this sense, not Malga X, but like the Garurumon and all that good stuff. We can somewhat try and pop them, but they may have like a search out field for the 1K. We might be able to pop them as well. But I do run this at 2 at the moment. It's a little bit of a flex, but I'm still trying to decide what actual like removal is best for red. Ideally, you know, if I could slot in a Mega Death and actually play it, I would. But it's a red deck, unfortunately, and it feels like bounce is the only kind of effective method for getting rid of big threats, and red's not got that access to that. So currently I'm running this. Drop a comment in the box of what you would kind of run in this particular build. So then we do run the 4 red memory boosts. Usually I like running red memory boosts at 3. I think 3 is just a nice, comfortable amount. But I feel like in this kind of deck, we need ways for it to be in security in order for them to obviously trigger it. Obviously then I've got memory banked up for those massive plays. Because the only thing I just need is memory at the times. Just having that memory banked up, boom, pop those, go in, good times. I don't like Grav Crush just when it's in security. It's freaking awful. It's like, oh, just does nothing. Does absolutely nothing. At least with this, I've got search capabilities, real top 4, get a red Digimon from amongst them, beautiful. I'm able to get my actual AncientGreymon, not a problem. And I'm also banking memory for that power play. Oh, if it gets triggered in security, then it basically the actual, I'll be able to essentially gain 2 memory when I need it, which is just great. It's what we need. That's why I am running it for kind of our main search to kind of accompany our Pokemon. So technically, you know, think of it in a way that we're running Pokemon at 6, but not quite Pokemon. We can't exactly, we're still gaining 2, but just not in the way of Digivolve and so forth. That's probably a weird kind of comparison, but we go with it. So going on to the Tamers, 4 Tamers. I feel like Tamer is great in this deck, and it's not so much that I always want to be running into Tamer. Ideally, I just want Tamer being procced in security. That's just like, boom, nice, I've got a free security check, I'm going to cleave through you, and I'm going to start at 3. It makes a massive difference, because if you've got already, if you've had to do the play where you've got AncientGreymon already amazing, you have to pay the 5. But you know that your opponent can't quite finish you off next turn, and they kind of go for some nice cheeky chips. Boom. Then they bring out this, you're like, oh shit. They're like, oh man, I know what's coming. They're like, I know what's coming. Great, I've just set up my own funeral. Just throw dirt on me and I'm done. That's what happens when you see the Tamer. As well, it just secures games, because even if you haven't got an Alterius mode in your stack, but you've managed to have obviously your standard kind of hybrid line, you got your Promo Goonie, you've got your Aldemon, going to AncientGrey, you know, you've got your Rookie and all that. That's 4 checks alone. Obviously have your Tamer, that's 5. And swing, boom, hybrid for game, done. It really just, yeah, absolutely crazy. And obviously if the opponent, if you've got piercing and you still go through, and then the opponent's like saving that blocker to kind of stop your, well actually, probably won't be able to do that, depending on how much memory you got. Say the ideal play, you'll be able to obviously Evo off top of your Tamer, play your blue plugin and swing. Granted, it's quite a costly amount right there, but if you start at 3, the only thing you need is just a red memory boost, and then you're pretty much good. So Tamer, run it at 4. Could run it at 3 if you want to, but ideally you just want to see this card out, even if it's in your hand. Make sure you play it out. If it's not, hopefully be in security, all good stuff. Then I just run the 2 Takuya. I forgot his name for a second there, because Takuya is still really helpful, especially for Burning Grey. Really helps in terms of controlling the board when you need to control, and just for those cheeky early swings. If you have to go for the early swings, you go for the early swings. If you have to go in and delete someone delete a Digimon off the opponent's board just for that nice little kind of field presence, then bang it. It means that your opponent is then kind of forced to get rid of that Digimon, but because Burning Graze just kind of pops there, essentially the searcher. So if you're facing off with like Alphamon, obviously they're going to be playing their freaking rookies out, obviously getting those searches when needs be. It means that you can obviously pop them, but you don't necessarily have to go for a swing. It's completely up to you if you do want to go for a swing. But then you could delete something, go into your Aldemon if you want to, and it means that you can just do a nice little cheeky 2-checker. That's how you can go. It's really quite an adaptive card. Do like Takuya. Don't forget you need to run it any higher than 2, but it's just a nice option, especially if you need to go for, you know, hybrid for game if needs be. Good turn pass as well if you do need to choke, because sometimes it's quite hard to choke with a 4-cost kind of tamer, because you're pretty much just sacrificing your turn at that point. So do like Takuya. Obviously its unique interaction of essentially getting out AncientGreymon for free, very rare instance, especially in this kind of OTK build. It's not often that we do get enough cards in trash to kind of pull it off, but there might be some games that might go longer than that, but 9 times out of 10, because it's OTK, you're just going for that big stack, swing, job done, pack up. Woo! And that is the deck profile. I tell you, it's like a freaking oven in here. Tell me what you think, guys, to the deck build. This is what I'm kind of thinking for BT9. Not really much changes right here, to be honest. I think because of the restriction of Tommy, I feel like Red Hybrid has actually got a lot of room to kind of play. I do feel like blue plugin is going to be helpful because hitting over that threshold can be a little bit hard. But to be honest, as long as you do have your Alteris mode, at least just one of them in your stack, you're laughing. But I'd rather just have different options in order for me to kind of, you know, work around different situations. I do like seeing this in security because it enables me to draw maybe a key piece like my Omnimon, and also enables me to get high speed plugging in order for me to actually secure game because the opponent can no longer block. Obviously, a thing to note is that your Magnamon X can still technically block it because it's got that Omni 360 freaking defense, like yeet, none of that going on. So you do need to watch out for that. That definitely can prevent the actual big swing, unfortunately. But 9 times out of 10 out of that, obviously you kind of your security control. No, I wouldn't say security control, but like the recovery version with that. Just need to make sure that you can get enough hybrids in your stack in order to deal with that. But that's round about it, to be honest. Like I say, this still a bit of like a flex spot of like what to do with it. Fully commit to the OTK and just have more search capability, or at least have a little bit of spice so I don't get rushed down, because that's the thing at the moment. If the only deck I can feel like this would actually kind of crumble a little bit is probably Armors, because Armors will just keep swinging at me. So if I don't have the right pieces, I'm screwed. That's pretty much it. But that's pretty much like it is for every form of OTK base, is that if you don't have the right pieces and they're just going at you, going ham at you, then unfortunately you're gonna lose. But guys, that's your boy done. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash it with like a standard. Let's get up to 250. When we do get to 250, I'm going to do a video. I'm going to share essentially the roadmap of what I want to do with this channel, what I want to be, you know, achieving, maybe some cheeky little giveaways and so forth. So let's see if we can hit that, and then I'll see reveal what I'm wanting to do. And because I say this channel is not just, you know, it's my channel, but it's our channel, Team Double D, Team Double D. So yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. But have an awesome evening. Stay safe. And I'll catch you next one. DigiDread off the mic.